We're in the home stretch. It's week 7. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's see here. Activity number 2, ADA.gov, the Americans with Disabilities. The Promise of Olmsted, 15 years later. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this, but it's a pretty interesting thing to kind of give us a different perspective about the ADA. So if you just click on the link, if the link doesn't work, just let me know, because every time they have an upgrade in Blackboard, I never know what links are going to work and what don't until y'all tell me to go, Rox, I'm clicking on this thing and it's not there. And generally all I have to do is go back in, reset it, and it's there. So just let me know. It's the Olmsted. You'll find the link in the learning plan, the Promise of Olmsted 15 years later. And were you familiar with the story behind the Olmsted case? And then after watching the video, what are your thoughts about those who are disabled and our work standards today versus years past, right? And then as a leader in your organization, how can you affect change where disabled workers are concerned? This is a it can be very heart-wrenching, this case. And I think we've come a long way. I really do. I think we have a long way to go yet, but I think we're getting there. My hope is with you young people, with my grandkids, and those of you that have seen the era of our senior ways, right? Oh, geez, am I a senior yet? Oh, that's another video. Number 3, myths and facts. So visit the links to the myths and facts sheet that's in our learning plan. Describe 5 myths that you really found interesting, or maybe you thought they were true too, because boy, this stuff floats around all over, especially now we have the internet, because everything on the internet's true, right? Oh my gosh. And then chapter 16 case review, on page 320, the loose lips and pink slips. What are the costs of offhand comments and age-related statements? In this case, you'll find out when you read the case, right? And then look up the demographics for the U.S. workforce. So what percent of the U.S. workforce is over 40 right now? Because the law covers, anybody over 40. You risk age discrimination. I have a coworker that makes offhand comments about older people in our organization quite often. And I kind of have to remind them every now and then, do you realize that that's my age group you're talking about? Oh, I don't mean it that way, whatever. Yeah. That's another video too. Please share at least 2 bits of advice you'd give leaders in your organization about how to handle working with older workers. Okay. Now, by the way, what was I just reading in Business Week? They were talking about making 74 the retirement age. It's 65. They're talking about moving it as far as 74. I think 72 is in there somewhere. It has to do with something. I'd have to look it up again. But that about blew me away. I just read that. I think it was just 3 weeks ago in Business Week. And that just about shocked me. So, and we have people that are working into their later years like that. Number one, our retirement isn't worth as much as it used to be. There's no such thing as really as pensions anymore. And people are living longer and they're healthier longer. I mean, I don't think I'll ever retire until you guys tell me, Rox, we can't understand you anymore because, you're in a wheelchair and you should be in the home. Right? Because I'd get bored. I don't know what else I would do if I didn't have my students and I didn't teach. And then the last thing, number 5, is to do the happy dance. And I think I have a pretty fabulous link to some pretty cool music out there for you. When I say pretty cool, it's probably something really old. But watch the video and do the happy dance, celebrating the end of another successful course for you, right? This is a short week, by the way, because classes end on Friday. And when I got rid of that pre-work for this course, I kind of had to spread things out a little bit. So we do have one extra thing to do here by the end of classes. Look at the dates on here, because if we're watching this video next term, the dates won't be the same. It's just an agenda summary that's going through the yellow things like we always do. And then I would really love to hear your final thoughts. 3 things. What 3 pieces of advice would you give employers when it comes to the legal issues in the workplace? And then what 3 things would you change about this class, right? And what things would you change about how you maybe performed as a student in this class? You're going to find a link. It just says final thoughts. And it's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. If you choose not to answer, it won't affect the grade at all. I just leave it blank. But it is worth 15 points if you do answer it. So it's kind of like, it's as close as I get to extra credit. All right. You guys have a really good break because wherever you are in the term, somewhere along the line, you're going to get a break. All right. And this is one of my favorite classes. So, all right, you bye. Oh, say goodbye to my managers. Working hard again. All right. You guys take care.